morning from the garden. It's just a beautiful morning out here, so I think that it would be a great opportunity to do a quick garden tour to just sort of set the baseline for this spring. It's been a really hard start to the gardening year, but it really does seem like it's coming around now, and I feel a little better about it. So let's get started. Let's kind of do a quick tour of all of it. We've got like all of these hostas are coming in nicely. We need to move the bench back. The Blackstone sits back behind there in the winter. So, gotta move the bench back, maybe plant some begonias on it. We've got all of these hostas are looking very healthy. It's really cool to see the difference in many of these plants from the last 2 years when it's been so dry, and how different they are responding to this really nice wet spring that we're having. We are having incredibly hard bunny pressure, and so you'll see this hardware cloth all over in the garden, just trying to save some of the things. This was a rose that I bought sort of in memory of my mom. I really wanted it to do well, and the rabbits found it and just started mowing it down, so it does look like it's making a little bit of a comeback there. Over here we've got the water barrels are full. We had another like 2 inches of rain last night. This garden has really got my heart this year. It is so pretty over here. It just, what a beautiful little display of nice upright hostas. Again, the hostas aren't like laying on the ground like they normally are. They're nice and upright. The forsythia is crazy in the corner, although it didn't bloom very good this spring. I'm not sure why. I have added a bunch of compost to below it, and I'm going to make sure I fertilize it really well. Hopefully this year or next year, it'll do a little better. My new green stock with my beautiful pink begonias in it. And the daylily is really starting to flower there. I don't know if those are the orange or the yellow flowers. There is one orange one that's in with that yellow one. Drives me crazy. Down here are the strawberries that the rabbits are, you can even see they have like a little run in there. They've just been decimating them, and I already have cages around all of the rest of the garden. I don't know. So I did go buy strawberries, but there's still a bunch of beautiful strawberries in here that I can hopefully pick today. Come over here and talk about these two raised beds. All of these raised beds were just decimated by the rabbits. So, you know, we have this hardware cloth. I got this nice black stuff after we used so much of the silver stuff. But you can see those are my eggplants. Like, they're just traumatized from the rabbits. Same with all the peppers. They were eating the peppers down. So, thankfully, that's the habanana, and they ate that back, but it does look like it's coming back. This down here is the dill, and then on either side are carrots that are coming up. I had spinach planted in there. The rabbits ate that. They did leave the lemongrass alone, which I'm grateful, because the lemongrass is kind of an expensive plant. And then over here, I really need to take care of this chive. I think I'm just going to end up cutting it all the way back and letting it grow back. It was beautiful. And these are just the scarlet runner beans that hopefully will go up the trellis. Over there I planted 2 different types of cucumbers. Actually 3 different types of cucumbers and 1 squash. Only 2 of the cucumbers came up. I think it was the Armenian yardlong, but I remember seeing like the seeds up on the dirt, so something dug them up. But those are starting to do well. Over here is more, I've got some ground cherries. Those are being attacked by the cucumber beetles. All of the peppers over here are really starting to come around. I'm having some problems with soil. I did send in a sample to the U of M to get a soil sample, but I have been fertilizing a lot, so that hopefully that will correct whatever is going on back here. The 2 zucchinis, that's kind of fun. This one up front I bought from a start and planted because my other ones hadn't come up yet, so now I sort of have some, like, you know, like a succession sowing of them going, so that's good. I know they'll take over that whole part of the garden, and that's kind of what I want. Over here you can really see the rabbit damage early in the season. I've always been able to just plant my brassicas and not had too much problem. You know, I'll lose a leaf here and there, not all of the plants. So all of the plants that were in both of these areas got decimated by the rabbits. Now we did cage this part in, and now I have them sitting in those giant pots. And this was the second ones that I had to buy in order to, so I should get them in the ground, but honestly they're growing really well in these pots, so I'm not in any hurry. And then back here is just the tomato wall. I really need to maybe this week get the tags up for the wall, but the tomatoes are starting to look really nice. They were what I felt was stunted. Again, there's something going on with the soil, but that's okay. It does look like I have solved it. The last few days I gave them fertilizer. I gave them both blue juice and some fish emulsion, and they really seem to be bouncing back from that, which is great. You can see this one that's in potting soil back here is like twice the size of those, so just something going on with the soil. Here is the garlic. The garlic has gotten the crap kicked out of it by the storms this year. The wind storms have just been blowing it over. And you can see that I need to get out here today and cut garlic scapes. So those will be yummy, maybe for dinner. So that's really great. Yeah, and then over here is just the view. It's always a beautiful view. It'd be even prettier if we didn't have to have this wire cage up. This is the pepper that I overwintered. This is the aje dulce pepper. So one of the three that were living in that pot came back, and obviously it's doing really well. You can even see that it's starting to flower. Like, it's got a million little blooms on it. Down in there you can see I did put a start of one also that I started this year, just in case this one didn't survive. So that should pump out a lot of peppers in there. Back here is actually kind of a fun experiment. That's an Opolka tomato. I've grown them before and I never got one of them. They all had blossom end rot. So I'm testing it again. I have it in the bucket with like one of those bucket waterer things in it to see if that consistent watering is more helpful. I need to get stuff planted back here. This was kind of like, as the bunnies were ruining everything, I stopped planting things. We got this in here and it's just been, we have this crazy, we were obviously experimenting with all the different things that we needed to do, and it ended up being, this was way too clunky. So then we just went to the boards stuck in the ground with the wire around them. Hopefully it doesn't have to be that way every year. But I did plant those cucumbers in both of those pots. I need to thin them out, but just as maybe a way to grow cucumbers over here, I just wanted to try it. Down here are some peppers. These ones were eaten completely back by the rabbit, and so I'm grateful to see that it's coming back. You can see this one didn't get eaten and it's already got peppers forming on it. This one is the Sugar Rush Peach. One of those is Sugar Rush Cream, and then like the Ahi Pineapple is the other one over there. So this is fantastic this year. We are going to redo this, so we can maybe mark this as the before to the after of what the blueberry cage is going to look like. Kind of thinking we might wait until after the blueberries are done fruiting before we do that, because there are a billion blueberries over here. This is so fantastic. I think there's only 3 plants in here, and I'm gonna get gallons and gallons of blueberries from my silly little blueberry cage. I know it's ugly, but it works. So that's what's needed, I guess. The birds. So over here you can see more chicken wire or whatever hardware cloth over here. Honestly, I don't put chicken wire because I think those tiny rabbits could get through it. So we went with hardware cloth. This is the corn. The corn got ruined last year by whoever. It could have been squirrels, could have been rabbits. So I was going to put that in there anyway. There's this new beautiful hosta. It does look like I might be getting some slug damage in that. So I might have to grab some beer to do some slug traps. There were more peppers in this one that got totally ruined. It looks like they're coming back a little bit, but I don't have a whole lot of faith. This is the celery that they ate back, and it is coming back on its own. They do leave the onions alone, so that's good to see the onions. These ones were little starts that I tried. These are like Walla Walla onions, and then those were just some like sweet onion starts that I grabbed. There's nothing in the bed over here yet. I've just been overwhelmed with everything else. There's a whole bunch of tomatoes back here. We've got 4 main size of tomatoes, and then I started a whole bunch of the little micro tomatoes. They're not very happy, but that's okay. They'll get there. And then I'm trying some Great Northern beans, and again, they got annihilated by the rabbits last year, so I put this big cage around them to hopefully keep them safe. They're not looking very healthy, so I think they need some fertilizing or something. This is a new daylily. It's got like a black flower on it that I bought this year, so I'm hoping that that comes in pretty. This is more corn. I think this one's the blue, and the one in the other pot is the pink. Oh my, look at what we've just found here. Something knocked over my bird bath. The rumor is that we've got some raccoons running around the neighborhood too, so I guess that doesn't surprise me. We'll move on. You can see some more bunny damage. I just kind of want to document it so that I remember. They took down all the echinacea anywhere that I had coneflowers or echinacea growing. It took it down. It was down in here too. But there's big, beautiful plants that are supposed to be coming up here. They're finally starting to. I'll have to come through and weed this to get them in a better place. But ugh, stupid rabbits. Back here is just the new raised beds that we put in last year. They were stunning last year, and we're excited to see what they look like this year. The castor beans with all of the bedding plants. I did go and buy some more annuals to kind of pop into here to just fill in maybe some of those spots. I know I won't need to in a month, but for whatever reason it hurt my heart, and there were some places around the garden that could use some. This green stalk, I just am loving the wildness of these green stalks, like you know, not being super consistent. I do like the pink one with the consistency, but I think in the future I'll probably do something more like this, because this is just really, really fun to see all the different stuff coming in. You can see that the lilies are very, very healthy. The sun's starting to come out, and they're starting to bloom. So these were between these yellow ones and the red ones over on the other side over there. Those were the first ones to open this year. So I got these ones at the Minnesota Horticultural Society's sale at the Home and Garden Show a couple of years ago. So it's really great to see that they're doing so well. And then over here are the red ones that I've been opening. I've had these for years, and they're just showstoppers that just grow without much care, which is what I need. So I love it. We do have a wren, and you can hear the babies. The little chattering that you're hearing, hopefully, are the baby wrens in there. So we're going to get yelled at. We're going to hurry through this section. We've got all of this that is the second raised bed that we put in last year. Just again with some annuals in it. The castor beans out on the ends, so hopefully those will get big and full by the end of the season. And then just some of the perennials that are planted around here are just doing really well. We are getting a ton of rain, which is the first time in years. I know the last 2 years have been very much a drought. We've got our Charlie Brown tree. It's a tamarack that has grown into a big beautiful tree, but I still call it my Charlie Brown tree. Over here we've got, this is interesting, this is my oregano, and every year it gets like decimated by bugs, so I don't know what I need to do, if I need to move it or what, but it's fine. I'm not too worried about it. I love this hosta back here, and again, like, the height of that hosta this year is just so beautiful. I'm sure it doesn't really show up on camera how enormous it is. It's probably about 4 or 5 feet wide, maybe 6 feet, 5 feet wide. So it's huge, and it's just doing so great. I need to kill a mosquito. Ouch. And then behind it is some bee balm that volunteered, and just this part of the garden I was so frustrated with because I was like, that has to be redone. It just looks terrible. It's just overgrown. And while that's still the truth, as it's been filling in this into summer here, it's starting to look just beautiful. And so I'm a little bit more content with it. All of this grass is volunteer, so I have to go through and thin out around this other hosta that I purchased. I think I purchased that one last year at Costco, to be honest. And so that's getting really big and healthy, so I need to give him some space. I got a couple of things that I'm growing on that trellis, or I'm trying to grow on that trellis. The one in the middle there is candy corn plant, so it's a vine that the little flowers look like candy corn. And I did plant sweet pea flowers alongside of that. We'll see if they come up. I just planted them this week, so it'll be a little bit before they come up. This is just gorgeous. I love this plant. And then I planted it with some of the variegated cannas that are just starting to come up. I've got that one, and then there's another little nose of one that's coming up there. This is another plant that is just absolutely loving the rain. This is a lungwort, which is the worst name for the most beautiful plant, but just standing up and blooming like crazy, so it's really great to see. This needs to be weeded and just kind of cared for. The rabbit has been eating. It ate one of the little hostas right in front of that one. So, and this whole area got redone this year. We need to get some more landscape timbers to keep that from eroding off of the edge there. But then this garden, this raised garden, was completely falling apart, and we redid it completely. We tore it down, bought all new lumber, and redid it, and we are in love with it. It is so fun. It's kind of high, which is great because when we're tired of the garden, we can just come and like lean against it and get things sorted out in our brains. I have a bunch of beans planted in here, which you can see one of my beans kind of resurfaced over there with all the rain, which is fine. I planted a couple of cucumbers along the back there, and I did throw some of the sweet peas in on one of the corners for this trellis that we have in here. This bean is funny because this one was in the old bed and it had volunteered, and so I was able to transplant it into this one. I don't know what it is, but there were like runner beans and stuff on here last year, so could be one of those. Could be just a regular bean too. Anyways, I think it's great that it gave itself a head start. Things are a little less finished back here, but it's really fun to see. We have this new fire ring that Bill got for us, that his brother got for us. So it's got our name on it, and it's just beautiful. It has been too windy to have a fire yet to be able to see it, but it's just so fun to have this area back here just starting to be nicer. We're able to take a little bit more time. The grass really died from the we had some giant amounts of compost planted back here, laid back here while we were filling in the gardens, and so the grass is just kind of starting to come back here. I think we're gonna reseed this area. We're still unsure what we're gonna do with this garden. We might move it back, we might take it out. I just haven't decided yet, so it's just kind of still sitting there. The hydrangeas look amazing. Those are mostly are my mom's hydrangeas, but then there's like a little spot there that's my brother-in-law's that he gave us too, so we've kind of got like the family hydrangeas. There's a few more that are up over there, but they are loving this weather, this nice wet weather. Obviously they're almost blooming. They're gorgeous. We took the lawnmower through the garden because it just needed to be done. This was just a jungle. It was wild. It had weeds. It was just awful, and we were just sick of it. So we took and mowed the whole thing down, just everything that was in there. Who cares? We mowed it, and now we're going to put cardboard, and we did put the landscape fabric back there with the forsythias. So I've had those forsythias for like 3 or 4 years and needed somewhere to plant them, and I decided on that spot. So hopefully they can fill in this big area and just have this big area be a giant forsythia, and then the hydrangeas. Oh, I'm in trouble with the red squirrel. This is going to be the like kind of memorial garden. This is, you know, we're really starting this. We don't have it finished yet. We don't have it. It still needs a bunch of work, but there are most of the plants into at least the raised beds, and we've got the Moose Memorial sign over there. But I need to figure out how I want to display it. I think it needs like a frame or something so you can really see it. But we've got some really cute little plants in here, and some of her fairy figures that are in there. We have a couple of herons that are going to hang, or is going to chill out in the corner of these beds back here. We just need to, they're kind of tippy, so then we screw them to boards to be able to set in there properly. But you can see that a lot of the really neat stuff that I got little bulbs this year, and so those are all coming up all over in these pots back here. So yeah, this looks very sad because of all the rain, but it's very healthy. The flowers will pop back up. And then we have this. We are going to build like a divider right here to kind of block the compost and storage area back here. But we have the lumber, but we just haven't started it yet. We actually have the lumber, and then the lattice is over in the grass over there. This is my cucamelon trellises, and the cucamelons are really starting to take off. So I normally plant more of them in here, and I just planted one in each this year, honestly, because none of mine that I didn't get them started in time. So we're gonna see how one does. But these two are doing really, really well. You can see this one seems like it's a little bit sadder, but it's coming back. It's just, unfortunately, I have to put this over, or the animals will dig up I don't know that it's the rabbit. I really blame the squirrels for that. So here's the back garden under our like weeping pine tree. It looks really nice back here. I don't know how many more years these little platform things are going to hold up and keep these pots around here, but we'll find a way to keep it going. Got the chair from Moose's house in there, and just all of the bee balm, and there's a bunch of hostas and good stuff growing in there, so it's fun to see that nice and filled in. Kind of the last area is sort of this patio area. These hops are doing so well. They're so beautiful. They made it to the top by Memorial Weekend, and you can see they're just so full and nice. Just finally, it took years for it to really happen, but it's finally how we really wanted it. I purchased a bunch of plants yesterday that I need to get in the ground. This one was sad. It was growing on its side, so now it's growing on its side. It's funny how fast that happens. Same with this one. Get those all set up and hopefully planted today, if the weather holds. I don't know if this shows how beautiful this is, but it's really, really cool. I know it'll reseed itself, but it's beautiful. The pond is, or water feature, I guess we should call it, is so cool right now. We finally got it level. It's been raining so much, and it's just a perfect water feature for the animals and the birds to come into and hang out. And then we've just got the beautiful patio plants that we plant every year. We've got the baby tears, and then I usually put the begonias. These, I probably should have used different color begonias, but I really don't care. Those flamingo celotias are just one of my favorites. Just kind of a really neat new plant to grow. The king tut grass is doing really well. That poor hosta keeps getting the crap beaten out of it by the squirrels that are in this bird feeder, so I need to stop filling that. These have tons of hummingbirds in them. The hummingbirds love these cigar plants, or whatever you want to call them. The shrimp plant is coming up nicely. There's a little dog toy there. And then over here is just kind of the fun little volunteer garden that has some really cute little hostas that I have tried to save over the years in it. And then the mandevilla is a beautiful mandevilla this year, and we hope that it like stays that way. We're going to really keep an eye on the drainage of this pot, especially with how much rain we're getting. But it is starting to climb, so that's good to see. This is my patio Berry's Crazy Cherries tomato, which is really starting to take off, and You can see it's got a bunch of flowers on it, so that's good to see. And then we've got that plant. I don't know what it is, but it's pretty. The pansies are starting to see better days. Ugh, that squirrel was in my baby tears again. Ugh, that tacos. And then there's more begonias, and there's the like close-up of the beautiful celosia. So pretty. And then over here is the, I went back to my main tomato being the Mortgage Lifter. It was my favorite tomato, and so I figured I may as well grow that one. I've tried the Dr. Witchies over here a few times and kind of some other ones, but I don't know. I love the Mortgage Lifter, so that's what I should go with. I will show my little trick that I did, because again the squirrels were digging everything up, so I just put some plastic silverware in there, and they have been leaving it alone. This is my little sad tray of herbs that needs to be planted pretty much immediately. And then this stuff over here, the beautiful begonias that I have planted down there, and then just the other green stock. Again, planting it, you know, that isn't any order to it, is just become my favorite thing because it just looks so nice. And yeah, the impatiens back there are starting to grow in. This is the sad little grow shelf that was being wheeled in and out of the garage, and now is just sitting here holding the sad plants that need to be planted. So I'll find somewhere for them. So I think that was it for the garden tour. It's a beautiful summer, but I also really wish that the vegetable garden hadn't gotten quite so annihilated, but we'll win the war with the rabbits. So thank you for watching. Happy gardening.